Welcome to At the Core, the intersection between neuroscience and fitness, where I have the opportunity and joy to speak to high performance movers and better understand how they mindfully connect to their movement with brain health. Today's guest is Svetlana Basukinskaya. Sveta, short for Svetlana, joins us from Moscow, Russia. Diagnosed with a cavernoma in her brainstem at the age of 20, which bled into her cerebellum, Sveta's life was turned upside down. After a dangerous 6-hour brain surgery with a 50-50 chance of survival, the true work began. Implementing brain-based drills and neuroscience has helped her continually improve for a life of independence. With her passion for this topic and her desire to learn more, she has studied under Franco Lococo, a previous guest on At the Core, among other neurospecialists. She has taken this knowledge to support young athletes with neurotraining. Welcome, Sveta, and thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, hello. Thank you, Misha. How are you?
Absolutely, I'm doing so well. Thank you. I wanted to begin by explaining a little bit to the audience, in short synopsis, the function of the brainstem and the cerebellum before we get started.
I think that
Yes.
it's a very complicated question, but it works with the space. It works with understanding what is around us. So how we do balance, how we how we understand the surrounding. So it's very, very complicated, and in 2 words, it's like this.
Yes, absolutely. So the cerebellum is known as the little brain. It's 10% of the brain volume, but 80% of the total neurons in our brain. It refines, improves, and refines, tunes our thoughts, our eye movements, our breathing, our immune system. It deals with movement accuracy, maintaining balance while moving, helping coordinate motion, integrates the other cortices, and is our error detection. So if you're thinking the cerebellum is important, you're absolutely correct. The brainstem controls the autonomic functions such as digestion, breathing, our flexor and extensor muscle tone. It also houses our 12 cranial nerves, including eye movement, smell, tongue movement, facial sensations, and much more. So you can imagine with Sveta having a brainstem cavernoma that bled into her cerebellum, her coordination, her balance, and multiple things were impacted, which we're going to learn more about today. So Sveta, can you share a little bit about what those first few months were like for you? What were your limitations? What in your body was impacted? And how did you deal with this devastating accident and incident in the first few months?
Okay, so first few months was very, very complicated because I wasn't able to stand up because I had body paralysis. So one side of the body was paralyzed. It's the right side of the body, and like it was in brainstem, it was the paralysis crisscross. So I still have face paralysis and paralysis of cranial nerve, which is, my eye is turned to the nose. And the first few months, I was lying, lying on the bed, and I was doing gymnastic, also also lying. So I tried to stand up, but it was very difficult. So after maybe 2 months, I started to verticalize and to do some movement like going, like trying to walk, and it was great.
That's amazing. Amazing. Your story has been so fascinating to me because of not just what you've accomplished, but how you've accomplished it. The intuition and the smart application to achieve your goals. So someone that is in a similar situation to you, or someone that is going through something, has the towel in their hand, how would you advise them? How would you inspire them to not throw in that towel, but instead use it to wipe the sweat off their face in trying?
So I think that you should know that it's a long road to heal, to rehab, and um, to achieve your goal, and not and I advise to everybody not to surrender and go ahead. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. Start doing something, and everything will be all right. I swear. Really.
So you've been on this journey for many years, and it's turned to really having a passion and an education for applied neuroscience and taking your exercise directly in the form of brain training into movement. And we could talk for hours about all the things that you do and why they are important. But I would like to spend time talking about three specific sections of your rehab and exercise protocol. And those are dance,
Yeah.
vision training, and sandbox workouts. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit on each of those three as to why you do these and how they impact your brain health so that you can continue to make strides in your wellness?
So I don't know what to start, but I would like to start with the sand train, because I think that it's very interesting, and it's very useful for everybody who has something with brain, some brain damage, or who wants to work his straight. So I'm doing this training for maybe a year, and I can see that I became more stronger, more my balance is better, and everything that I do in that box in the training uh, is very very useful when, for example, I go in winter in Russia, because it's very there is a lot of snow and I can fall down. But as we train at the sand, now I can manage it, so it's great. And I highly highly recommend to start uh, some training on the surface. So the surface shouldn't be straight. It should be like this. And I think that it's very cool for cerebellum, for your brain. It's wonderful.
And Svetlana, I'm going to stop you for a second. When she talks about sandbox training, this idea is it's loose sand. And so for anyone that has ever walked on a beach with loose sand, they know how challenging and how exhausting it is, how much balance work there is, how much ankle stability is required, how fatiguing it is in the muscles. And so doing training like this really upregulates the cerebellum. And what we mean by upregulates, it reminds the cerebellum how important it is to stay active, to participate in the activity, to send these neurons where 80% of them live through the brain and through the brainstem and through the spinal column to allow for such actions to be regained or to continue its use. So this is really amazing, Svetlana. And like you said, things are uneven surfaces, and you managed to deal with those obstacles outside of Sandbox because of the things you've learned.
Yes, and it also goes great with jumping, because jumping on sand, it's very complicated, because you need uh, to uh, to fly under the sand, and it's very difficult to start. So it's great to try to jump on the sand. I highly recommend to all the survivors, all the stroke survivors, to start little jumps or on sand. It's great on the beach, on sand, no matter what.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And what about dance or vision training, whichever one you want to go into next?
So then we go to dance, and this is another story because um, it's not so easy also to start, because I was afraid. I was afraid to start because I thought that, oh my God, I cannot move, I cannot control myself. I have bad coordination. So how I can move, do movement, do dance movement, do creative movement. And then I started to dance. And first I was like, my head was only down, and I was afraid to look at the mirror. And it was very, very difficult for me to look at myself and understand what is happening in the mirror, because the
Mhm.
is a little
Yeah.
bit different. So
So
then
basically, what you're mentioning is this idea of being able to see herself and recognize her own body parts, because part of that is in the brainstem and in the cerebellum as part of the autonomic system.
yes,
So
and
it's
the
not
picture.
just the sense that she didn't want to look at herself, it's that it actually confused her brain as to what she was looking at.
Yes, yes, and you know that I don't have enough focus uh, to look and to understand what the teacher tells me, because I looked at the mirror and the image was like this. So it was very difficult at the first time, but I said, okay, I'll do this. I try step by step doing this, and now I arrived to complicated dances, and it's
You are
great.
an amazing dancer. You're an
Thank
amazing
you.
for anyone that wants to watch her videos on her social media challenge, on her social media channel. She posts videos constantly. She learns more choreography than myself as having been a past dancer, and it's incredible to see. When we talk about building brain health, they often say learning a musical instrument, learning dance choreography, and speaking a new language are some of the three things that light up the most areas of our brain simultaneously. So, approaching one of those or all of those will really help strengthen your brain and get multiple activation centers to work together. This
Yes,
is
and
really amazing, Svetlana.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to add that I started first. I tried to dance with my mom, and because I need to feel the partner. Yes, because I wanted to dance with my boyfriend to feel the partner. It was very, very complicated, because when you have some problems with your cerebellum, and you don't know your abilities, you don't feel space around you, so you don't know how close you are. And uh, so I tried to do movement with my partner, and it was another challenge for me, and I did it.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
really
great.
did. And it's interesting to me because with your dance, you don't stay one dimensional. You have highs and lows. You're working your vestibular system. As you said, that proprioceptive system with partner work and knowing where your partner is and being dipped and not getting dizzy from this. This is things that we all deal with or without having had a stroke. But it's really amazing to see how far you've come with your careful selection of exercises and things you've put yourself through.
Yes, thank you so much. And all that dances and sand training with won't be possible without visual training that I started to do maybe 2 years ago, and it's an amazing thing that I highly recommend to all of the stroke survivors. You should start with visual training. Um, it's the shortest way to your brain because what we see and how we see, how move our eyes, very, very close to our brain. And if we have some brain damage, we should do some visual and cognitive training. It goes without saying.
Yeah. It comes up every time we do these podcasts and at the core interviews. Every single time,
Yeah.
vision is brought up. It's at the top of this neural hierarchy, and it has such an impact because what we see is what we perceive, and when we don't see well, we don't perceive well. We don't trust what we don't see, and it's amazing how much you've done with vision training. Can you talk a little bit about what type of vision work you have done?
Yes, of course. I first, that I started training with Franco. We met in Instagram, and it's a very, very, I know, amazing person. He's a professional, and we started to do neurovisual exercises. We started with the exercise on peripheral addition. Yes, it's called peripheral addition. And then we moved slow, because when you have some damage with brain, you shouldn't do all the exercises. You should do a little thing every day, and you will arrive to your goal. So I thought that I will start how I decided to do visual training. I was sitting at home, and I know that I can do everything. I know that I should write everything. I can straighten my arm. I can do a lot of push-ups that I straighten my core. But what I need something to my brain. And this we met with Franco, and he told me about visual therapy, and it was amazing because it was a clue to all my rehab, and I started to do this eye muscle exercise. You know that it's simple. You do upside down, to the left, to the right, and then uh, this first movement. With this first movement, I was able to do very complicated things like cognitive. For example, you give me, the Stroop test here beside me. So, for example, you give me a task with a color, and I could manage it. So it was great, and I
Amazing.
started to do it day by day, myself by myself with Franco, and I was able to do dance. I started to look at the mirror without frighten. So I think that it's great.
Amazing. That's amazing. Amazing. It's so great to see. It never surprises me that vision training, neurovision training work impacts the brain the way it does. But yet, it's always encouraging to hear yet another story of how it impacted it.
Yeah.
We get so excited even though we know it's going to happen.
Yes, and you know that you can see that my left eye is still to the nose. I try do exercise to push it a little bit straight. Of course, I have some facial paralysis, and it's very difficult. It goes slow, but I started drive a car, with that eye. So after vision therapy, I had so much peripheral addition, so good that I couldn't see a lot, and that's why I started, and I drove in a city with
That's
my instructor, but it was great. I was not afraid. I was so confident in myself that I can see it, even if my eye muscle doesn't work. I can see what is happening there.
That's amazing. That level of plastic change that has taken place through these types of particularly vision drills and then allows you to excel in these exercise drills is really phenomenal. And I think that that's really important for the listener to realize that incorporating vision work will only accelerate the goals that one has in movement, in cognitive tasks, in just feeling safe and comfortable in their lives.
Yes, great.
You you often use tape as part of your work. Kinesio tape on your face, blocking areas on your glasses with tape for visuals. Can you explain a little bit about how you use tape and how that supports this aspect?
Okay, so I did tape, and I still doing, but not so often. But I was doing face taping, yes, for sport, and after face gym, I did tape application, and I think that I was working with that 3 hour a day, maybe it's enough. And you know that I did it every day, every single day. I do face gym and tape, face gym and tape. And for example, when they write me and ask, "Oh, does tape working?" I say yes, but you should do it every single day without any excuses. And now I think it's working because my face not like this. It's more
Mhm. Lifted.
better. Yes.
That's amazing.
So how I do is, the doctor, the special doctor, showed me I should use it, and I use it at home. It's like cosmetic thing, but you should do it every day to achieve some result.
So for whether you use the tape on your face, on your knee, if you've ever used it on your shoulder, kinesio tape, rock tape, KT tape, whatever you want to call the brand of kinesio tape, is this aspect that it's going to be a 24/7 reminder subconsciously. I had a staff member that worked for me that explained it in this way, that tape should be put on like you put on underwear. Once you put it on, you should not be paying attention to it. It's only until it's in the wrong place are you aware of it consciously. And so what the tape does is allows you to be in more of the right position more frequently and for a longer period of time with the brain getting used to it. And unless it's horribly different and your body in whatever body part you're putting the tape is is against that resistance of the tape, will you be consciously aware that, oh, something's going wrong? And so it really aids that neuroplastic change and ability to fix things on a longer level. And that is why, Sveta, you said don't do it longer than 3 hours, because it's a lot for the brain to incorporate and a lot
Mhm.
for the brain to process constantly.
Yeah, then you want to go out of that because it's you go, no, no, it's enough.
The cerebellum requires a lot of fuel. It's the most metabolically active part of our brain. And the fuel is glucose and oxygen. How do you address this? When you do your training, do you eat between sessions or do you do breathing drills and breathing exercises to ensure that you're getting the proper fuel to your brain for your exercise, for it to work for you?
Okay, about this breathing therapy, I don't know. I cannot say anything, but I try just to breathe right, like info, like not so fast, not forget to breathe,
That's
just calm breathing and calm breathing also. Nothing special, really.
Well, it sounds like you are aware of your breathing, though. And that's, I think, most important. It's not necessarily how you breathe, it's that you are breathing and you're breathing in the most efficient way for you to succeed at whatever your task is.
Mm,
And breathing and all these things that you're doing, there's this neural term of the neural threat matrix. And we want to push our comfort zone. I talk about this a lot with a lot of my guests, that we don't want to sit in our comfort zone because that's not where growth takes place. It's outside of that comfort zone. But if we go too far outside that comfort zone, we could feel very threatened and it could pull us back. How do you approach that? How do you balance pushing your comfort zone, but staying within your capable zone?
It's complicated, but I think that you always should do every day something new, new for you, new for your brain, and go out of your comfort zone, because you should. What can you should ask yourself, what can you achieve in your comfort zone? What should happen if you stay today? Nothing will happen, so you should do something. You should go dancing, you should go outside, just quick or walk outside. It's better for your brain. Not stay in your bed, not staying in your kitchen with your friends. No, you should go outside and think and breathe. Do breathing therapy, do visual therapy. I think is the answer. Not to go, like in the mountain or do something special. No, little goals every day will arrive. Will help to arrive to success. I think.
That's
Right.
I completely agree. What is your message to yourself in those difficult times when something is very challenging for you? How do you overcome those challenges? What do you tell yourself? What do you do to stay in that capable zone?
Okay, this is a cool question, and this is a very strong dialogue in my head, because I also say to myself, okay, Sveta, we will do everything. Just stop crying, stop doing this nothing, this nothing. Do a small thing every day. For example, today I will go to combat training. I don't want to go training. I want to stay home, but I say to myself that I need to do for my future self, and maybe it's not so inspiring, but then in the evening you feel proud to yourself, and your brain feels so good. And for this feeling, you should do something new every day. This is my message to myself. Really.
I can't thank you enough for all the information you've bestowed, how much you're helping others. I have a fun little thing that I would like to do with you, and it's a lightning round. I'm going to ask you questions, and the first thing that pops to mind is what you're going to answer.
Okay, very interesting.
Ready to play?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, working out, morning, afternoon, or night?
Morning.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Planks or squats?
Planks, squats.
Shoes or barefoot?
Barefoot.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Music or silence?
Music.
Heat or cold?
Cold.
Jasmine or peppermint?
I don't know the meaning of these words.
Jasmine is a flower, like a floral scent, or peppermint is a minty scent.
Mint scent.
Spontaneous or planned?
Spontaneous.
Learn something new or perfect something known?
Perfect something known.
Sveta, this is so amazing. Thank you so much. This was a huge privilege for me to speak with you. I am so impressed with everything you have done for yourself, how you've taken that to help others, and your message that will hopefully cross oceans for other people to realize the possibilities that they have. I
Well,
know that we talk for hours. Is there anything else you would like to share with anybody and everybody listening? Anything you would like to add to that's important in this conversation?
I just want to tell everybody, do not give up, and to listen to yourself, to your body, and to be happy every day, because it's a present.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy. I know it's a 12, 11-hour difference for us. And to all of you listening, keep moving, keep exploring, keep trying new things, and remember what Sveta said, never give up. Small steps produce big changes. The brain is incredible and the possibilities are endless. And we want you to know that. So we look forward to seeing you again on At the Core.
So great. Thank you, Misha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you got something out of it. We'll have many more videos that help you with rehabbing your shoulder, low back, knees, and everything else that will allow you to be active and healthy through all the things that you love in life. Please feel free to follow us on all our various social media channels, and we hope to see you back soon.